Pushback from some folks that say that, that this shouldn't be a community space almost, that people shouldn't utilize it for what it's intended. And this is exactly what it's intended for people to gather, spend time with one another, learn more about each other, and grow.
Absolutely. And our next guest is someone who's all about bringing everybody into Evanston and just showing how vibrant it really is. We do live in a beautiful city. This is not an amazing city.
Yes.
Absolutely, yes. And so much new stuff coming. Absolutely. So he's about to fill us in on what's happening. All right. So without further ado, we're going to bring out Andy Vick, Downtown Evanston. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So what we said we were going to do a show episode here in downtown Evanston. It's like, well, we have to have downtown Evanston here. Absolutely. So you're the executive director. You're making things happen.
Certainly trying.
Yes. I see you all popping up everywhere. There's events happening here all the time.
That's a big part of our job is to create programming that's going to bring people downtown so that they can see how beautiful our downtown is and hopefully support the businesses and the restaurants and the service organizations that do their work here.
Yeah, yeah. So we didn't cater food and drinks because look, you got choices around here. Latour, we had New Year's Eve dinner there. It was perfect, absolutely. A lot of great restaurants.
A lot of great restaurants in downtown, for sure.
So what's on the horizon? You hear some people say it's a lot of vacant space, like what's going on, but when I'm looking at it, I see growth. I see it is growing.
Yeah, we're still rebounding from COVID, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was very difficult for a lot of businesses to survive during the pandemic, but a lot of them made it through, and new businesses are opening all the time. In fact, we have more businesses opening in downtown than businesses closing. So over time, we're going to fill all those vacancies, I'm sure, and that's part of our job is to help support the businesses that are here to succeed and to encourage new businesses to open up.
What about like pop-up businesses with some of the vacant spaces?
Yeah, sometimes that works. Last year during the holiday season, a nonprofit organization called Evanston Made, which supports the arts community, did a wonderful pop-up over on Chicago Avenue. They had a lot of success with their month-long window that they were there. Sometimes it's more difficult. Some landlords don't want to open their spaces up because they want to wait for a tenant to come in, or they have other reasons that they're just not ready to do that. So it's a conversation between the organization, between us and the business owner and the property owner to see if we can get them to think a little outside the box and support some effort that's going to put something in those spaces.
There's so many new things happening in Evanston. So the whole Envision Evanston 2045, we got the stadium going up. That's going to bring in a lot of traffic.
Yep.
You have Northlight Theater going up, downtown Evanston. That's going to bring in a lot of traffic. So what do you see the vision of Evanston, like I would say over the next 10 years?
Well, I think some of the things you mentioned are great examples of a lot of the great things that are happening. Hopefully Northlight Theater, if they can get to their fundraising goal, will break ground later this year, which would be great. Where the old Burger King used to be, Evanston Labs recently opened, and they're starting to populate that space with new businesses. Where the Varsity Theater used to be is being renovated right now, and there's going to be some residential as well as some retail there. I think there's also a lot of plans for some more residential development in downtown. That's one of the ways that we can bring more bodies downtown is by having more residential in downtown and very easily support the businesses. They wake up in the morning, go out and have coffee, go have lunch, do their shopping downtown. So I think that's part of what the future is going to look like, is more residential and hopefully just more renovation of properties that need to be updated and upgraded.
I come from an interesting perspective because I'm a recent college grad, right? And one piece that I've noticed about here in Evanston, we have a Big Ten university right next door to us. It doesn't really feel like a college town. And I know that a lot of that has to do with some of the various ordinances that are on the books in Evanston. I know that, you have to serve, if you are serving alcohol, you have to serve food 80% of your operating hours. And from some of the conversations that I've had with some of Evanston's business owners, is that can often be a hindrance to them expanding their hours, keeping themselves open later, and then keeping some of that student base here in Evanston instead of them going to Chicago to do any extracurriculars that they may do on the weekend. Are there any policies that you have seen that are currently in place in Evanston that have been kind of hindering some of the growth potential that you see here downtown?
I don't know about policies that are hindering it. I think to me it's about cultivating the relationship with the university. And that town-gown kind of relationship sometimes can be a little cantankerous. And so, in fact, yesterday I was at a meeting with a number of Northwestern division department people to talk about what can we do to encourage students to come downtown. We have some programs already that we do as Downtown Evanston. We have something in October called Big Bite Night, where we invite incoming freshmen and transfer students to come down and get little samples from all the restaurants so that they can hopefully discover new restaurants and then patronize them over the course of their time at school. So, yeah, it works really well. We get lots of kids come out, and then it's a great introduction to downtown for them.
What about people in their 50s?
Well, hopefully you're already downtown eating already. You already know the restaurants that you've been here. But a lot of the students who are coming from other parts of the country are not familiar, and so there's really a big push this year in particular to help orient the students as they arrive, particularly the incoming students, to be more aware that this is going to be their community for the next 4 years. How can we welcome them and do a better job of encouraging them to come down here and enjoy all that we have to offer? It's very easy to stay on campus. And so we've got to come up with creative ways to bring them downtown, and that's one of the things that we do all the time, is to try to come up with those programs or special marketing incentives to bring them downtown. Student discounts, yeah. The Wild Card is a good example of that. For students participating in restaurants in particular, offer a discount for students if they show their Wild Card. And that's a nice incentive for students to come down and patronize the businesses.
I would say, unfortunately, too, there have been a number of long-time Evanston restaurants that have had to leave downtown because of, post-COVID and not being able to fully recover, not seeing whether it's the foot traffic or folks that are just coming in and parking. Are there any efforts that your organization is doing to help those restaurants that are in need so that it doesn't come to the worst case scenario to where they have to?
There are certain things we can do. I'll give you a good example. We started a really wonderful concert series this year called Downtown Summer Sounds. And the idea is on a Thursday night, we activate this whole space back there. We just had a fabulous concert last night. And the idea is come down, hear some live music, but then go out to dinner afterwards, right? Make it part of your whole evening's experience. We also have local Evanston food trucks that set up here, and so that's supplementing their business in their brick and mortar location. So there are things we can do, but a lot of it is also the restaurant. How do you create the environment that's going to attract patrons? A great example is Mensch's Deli just opened on Chicago Avenue, and that is packed, right? And that's because they did a beautiful job renovating it. They have really good food, and they've gotten really good marketing and good buzz, and that's what it takes. I haven't had that. Yeah, well, and that word of mouth brings more people back. So, some of it is on the restaurateur, him or herself, but certainly there are things we try to do at Downtown Evanston to help support them, whether it's social media marketing that we do from our office or programming to bring people downtown, or things like the Big Bite Night is, again, a great example of really focusing on the restaurants and what can we do to support them. So it's really a team effort.
Great job, because every time I get on social media, Downtown Evanston pops up.
Oh, yeah.
Some event downtown Evanston, I was like, they are active.
We are doing a lot of programming. And I got to shout out my colleague Laura Brown, who's our social media person. Laura, let's give Laura a round of applause. Laura is just out of hand good on social media. She's out taking pictures of individual restaurants and businesses, but she's also promoting the downtown as just a place to gather. And you know how powerful social media is. If you do it right, if you do it well, people come. And Laura's doing a beautiful job. We're very fortunate to have her. She's been with Downtown Evanston for about 8 or 9 years, and she knows her way around town.
She knows her way around town, yes. Do you have any questions for Andy?
Are there going to be any festivals downtown this year?
Big Art and Fork is coming in August. So that's an annual event that comes. They block off Sherman and Church, and it's not something we produce, but we'll help to promote that. Certainly the Downtown Summer Sounds is running through on Thursday through September 26th. So we got 9 more concerts. If you haven't been out to that, man, first one we had about 1,000 people out. It was amazing to see this whole space activated, people enjoying themselves, listening to music. So I'm really excited about how that's been going. We got a great series of bike rides that start here at Fountain Square, then go out and come back, and then folks can have a beer at over at 17. So a lot of programming to really drive people to downtown and help them to enjoy downtown.
Are you gonna have any dancing downtown?
Would you like to dance for us? Is that what you said?
I do.
Yeah, you know, we have talked about dance downtown. I know that's something that has happened in the past, and we might bring it back. You know, there's 2 of us in our office, so there's only a certain amount of bandwidth. There's only so much we can do, but we're always looking for new ideas, and it really helps us if we have a partner who is interested in working with us to make something happen. So if you want to do some dance, you look me up. But
I'm here for you.
all right, I'm going to hold you to that.
Okay.
We have some other people that want to dance too,
I know, I
so.
heard some clapping.
All right. I'm listening.
Okay.
I will say I have one more, probably a little bit more difficult, more nuanced question. You know, in downtown Evanston, obviously it can be expensive to rent out. And that often leads to a lot of high barriers of entry for people of color to open up restaurants down here, because I mean, you don't really see many Black-owned, Hispanic-owned businesses that are downtown here in Evanston. Are there ways that, you know, whether it's the City of Evanston working with you all or different organizations partnering together to really help, you know, marginalized community members who want to start their own restaurants or businesses and help them move downtown?
Yeah, you know, the city through the Economic Development Department has certain programs that will provide some grants that are very targeted to minority business owners. You know, again, I hate to keep talking about the Downtown Summer Sounds, but like last night, our partner was the Divine Nine, the 9 historically Black American fraternities and sororities. And so we brought them here specifically to make that gesture, to say, we want you here in downtown Evanston. We want you to be a part of our community. And we had Evanston and Blanc last year, which is going to happen again in September, which is by, I think, Black Women of Evanston, which was an amazing event. It was just fantastic. They just filled the plaza. So there's some really intentional work that we're trying to do to be very inclusive. Some of what you're talking about has to happen at the city level in terms of grant making. We don't have the funding to do that. But we're certainly working closely with the city to make sure that everyone feels welcome in downtown Evanston and everyone feels invited to be a part of downtown Evanston.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much,
my
Andy.
pleasure.
Thank you, and keep up the work. And we're gonna get the dance program going, the dance party going.